welcome back to Pixels and Pints, where we're going to cover our favourite pop culture and we'll review a few Aussie beers along the way.
And one Kiwi.
And one Kiwi beer.
One Kiwi beer.
There you go. Joining me tonight is Dan.
Hi.
And Tom.
Hello.
And I'm Pete. And hopefully the video recording's actually going to work. I've got no idea if it's in focus. I don't know if I'm in shot. I've got no idea.
That's the fun and games we like to play.
You're in shot there.
Yeah,
oh, no,
you're in
shot,
shot,
that's me
Dan.
in shot there.
Better put your glasses back on. So do you want to start with cracking the beer and telling us what we're drinking?
Yes, the first beer we're having is the Pina Colada Sour from Bad Shepherd Brewing. And they're from Victoria, from memory.
Yes, they are.
There we go.
Cool.
Cheltenham. It was at Cheltenham where I grew up. What a fantastic tale, Tom. Nobody cares. Crack the beer. Anyway.
I was down there the 1 year of Gabs, and that was the first year that Bad Shepherd had opened up. And, really good beers, always. So I haven't had a bad one from them. So
Nice. Cool. Have we got a first topic to start with?
I don't know. Do you, Tom?
4K is awesome. I've finally upgraded.
Tom just got a new TV. He's joined the rest of us.
I've caught up with society.
4K land.
Yep.
That's good.
We christened it. There's a little bit left. Small.
I don't know that you can explain what christening a TV involves.
Yeah, you pick something nice to watch as the first thing you watch. So we
makes a lot of sense.
We watched the new David Attenborough.
Planet Earth ones.
His what
is that the really depressing one about the end of the world?
Yeah,
I really want to see it. Hey,
well, it's not the end of it. It's very good. I was worried for the whole time it was going to be like, we're ruining everything, we're destroying the world, and it's kind of
ends on a positive note.
My whole generation's fault. But anyway, and like leaves it there. But he does a spectacular job and turns around and goes, but like halfway or 3/4 of the way through. And then he goes, this is how you can fucking fix it, though.
Yeah, cool.
And then I saw something today. It was like, when David Attenborough tells you to fix the fucking planet, you fix the fucking planet.
The world's going to be at a huge loss when we lose him.
Yeah.
We did exactly the same thing when we got the Blu-ray player and the TV that we got back then.
Yeah.
But we were watching the Planet Earth, the David Attenborough Planet Earth ones. So, yeah. Got show lights now.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm confused. There's bright things. Bright, shiny things that are just appearing. I'm going to try this beer.
It's good. It's really good. It's nice.
It smells like a fucking pina colada,
yep.
right?
It's coconutty and pineapple-y and slightly sour. And yeah, it's nice. Very nice. Dead air. Yeah. Dead air of us drinking.
Very, very, very light sour.
Yeah.
But that coconut comes through.
The coconut comes through at the end there, and they talk about on the can the creamy coconut cream Sabro hops.
Oh,
which are really coming out and about these days.
I've had some weird things with Sabro hops though.
It does get really weird, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, super weird.
There was a mountain culture porter, and I don't know what happened, but halfway through I thought I was drinking Jägermeister.
Yeah.
Really herbal.
Yeah, wow.
I spoke to...
That's bizarre.
Yeah, I spoke to one of the brewers at Batch about it, and he goes, yeah, that can happen. I've had that happen before. He reckons it was a combination of the malt and what they were using, but...
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think it's great. It's not too sour. It's not...
No, it's really nice. It's... what strength is it?
4%.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, right on the good average mark for the sours.
Well, it's one standard drink in a can, yeah?
Yeah, really smashable. Really nice.
It does say, remember what summer feels like. Well, this is what it tastes like. And you know what? They're not wrong.
Yep.
I'll give them that.
Good job.
Lots of coconut in that. That's good.
Mm. The Sabro helps with that too.
The what, sorry?
Sabro hops. Yeah. It's a very, like we were saying, it's very unusual hops.
Mm.
Here's a list again, right on schedule. About the same time as last time.
So you named it this time. I'm going to have to not only... Whoops. I had to fuzz out her face, but now I'm going to have to blank a name too.
Now you're going to have to
marker it. Yeah, thanks. She's probably walked past with a folder covering her face or something. No, she's got a wave.
No.
So I've got a topic. If you finished talking about your TV, you didn't really describe the TV. 65 inches in length.
65 inches, yes. It's the most inches I've ever had in my hands. How many other jokes can I make?
Really going to milk it, aren't you?
Well,
oh, really? Don't.
Leaving it.
And you didn't even mean it.
Yeah, I got the Samsung. It's good. QLED, Don't know what that really means, but it's sharp. The reason I got it was definitely for the PS5. It's got a HDMI 2.1 port, which they
I don't know
said
how important that's actually going to be.
Which does what?
decreases the lag time between the system and the. Yeah, that's what they talked about. I read several review
Articles?
pages. Yeah, articles.
Were any of them written by people that didn't sell TVs though?
Yeah.
Okay.
A few of them. They're more by gaming sites.
Okay.
But
Cool.
yeah, it's bright and shiny and delicious, and really now takes up our entire living room.
That's what TVs are for, man.
Yeah.
I'm assuming you know what QLED means.
It's it's the proprietary name for quantum dot technology that Samsung use. So
Which is more
Still
dots,
LED.
more dots per.
yeah, they're like individually lit, I think, from memory. There's a matrix of lights behind the LCD, the
Who the
liquid
fuck
crystal.
comes up with this shit.
Very, very smart Japanese men
Yeah.
is the answer to the question.
Wow.
As opposed to OLED, which is still the best technology in
was the
terms
other one I
of
was
pure
trying to
blacks to pure white. So everyone in LED land, LCD land, are trying to get closer and closer as they can to OLED, which OLED, the actual pixels phosphoresce themselves, so you don't need an LED matrix behind it to light the color.
This is going
it's
like that.
it's self-lit.
When you go color and black, yeah, I get
Okay,
it. But
so-
anytime you go non anything else,
You've got to shine a light into the colored pixel to make it glow so you can see it. And the problem with that is when you go to pure black, those LEDs sitting behind the panel still bleed into neighboring pixels, which is why on an LED panel, you're never going to have pure black. Whereas on OLED,
I'm nodding.
Yep.
I'm now understanding.
whereas with OLED, because each pixel is its own light, when you turn it off, it is completely and utterly dark.
Yep,
Which is
okay.
why you get pure blacks out of OLED, and you don't get pure black out of any other technology yet.
And who has the proprietary on OLED?
LG.
Thank you, LG.
Yeah,
Yes.
because I was looking at the LG OLED, but some of the things I was reading talked about burn-in if like you have a map like up for a long time, and I play a lot of those single player games where you always have like a mini map in the corner. So I was like,
Yeah, I don't know. They're getting pretty good with no burn-in. I mean, burn-in used to be a big problem, right?
Yeah.
When
And plasmas and that was, it was terrible.
But by the end of Plasma, you almost had zero issues with burn-in. I mean, iPhones have been using OLED technology for a couple of generations now, and if anything's going to have burn-in, it's going to be the time in the corner or the 4G logo in the corner of your screen, and no one's got burn-in issues. So I don't know how much of an issue it really is.
But no other picture ever comes up on that. Oh, yeah, well, I guess it does. Does it?
When you're... Yeah, I guess that's a good point. You wouldn't
Actually,
notice that it was burnt in.
No.
But you would if your battery icon was
Yeah,
full
I
all the
guess.
time and then
Yeah.
it went empty, then
Yep.
you'd see a white shadow there. I've never noticed. Certainly your clock.
Oh, yeah, different numbers. Duh.
So, yeah. Anyway,
Yep.
there we go.
I'm quick.
congratulations.
Thank you.
I don't know if I said this on the podcast. I've been really happy with my TV. So I've got a Sony LED TV. And I guess this is kind of peripherally relevant to pop culture because that's what we watch it all on, right? So I've been really happy with it for a long time. It's big. I think it's 75. It's nice and bright. And then I found out accidentally when I moved here in April that it's not HD. It's not true HD. So it emulates
I think you were talking about this already.
not
I don't know if it
HD,
was
sorry,
on this.
HDR. It emulates HDR, but it's not true HDR. So I've got 4K players, I've got HDR amplifier, I've got all the shit in the chain, and I found out the hard way accidentally that the TV didn't actually display any of it.
Yeah,
And as soon as I found out, I hate the TV. It's just purely psychological. It's just
Classic Peter.
I love that TV right up until the moment I realized it didn't have this core feature that I thought it had, and now I fucking hate it. Of course, the screen hasn't changed between before and after, but now I hate it.
So what? I actually haven't even looked. What do you, is the PlayStation 5 come with a bundle of anything? Do you get like? I remember with the 4 and the 3, you got a game with it, or like just
No, you didn't.
No,
Didn't you?
not the launch. No, you just
No.
got the console, and then
You had to buy your games.
yeah.
okay.
Yeah. So no,
I've never bought a Gen 1
like a first release
First release, console.
Um,
I've always waited till there was a bundle.
right. I don't think I've ever bought a bundle.
Yeah.
I think the original Xbox came with Project Gotham. That was probably as close to a bundle as I've ever gotten.
That's probably why I thought it's something like that. Well, I bought my PS4 with Black Flag.
Yeah, okay.
So Assassin's Creed Black Flag.
Well, yeah,
Fucking great game, that
I
one.
rebought a PS4 with the Battlefront. I got the Vader PS4.
The Vader one, yeah.
Because it came with the controller as well.
Yeah.
And
No.
so what's out day one that you're going to play?
Nothing. There'll be digital releases, I'm
Oh,
hoping.
the new Spider-Man, the Miles Morales.
Oh, it's day one, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. And Cyberpunk's only 2 weeks after or something like
Something
that.
like that, yeah.
Looking forward to that.
November 13th or something like
But
that.
there's something like 20 release titles that they've announced. And by that, I would assume that means that you can digitally download them from the store on day one.
Yeah, on day one.
There's five AAA ones you can get like day one, which are like big studio games.
Yep.
I think it was Godfall, the Sackboy game,
That's AAA? I don't count that as AAA.
it's a Sony first party title, I guess.
Yeah.
Miles Morales, and then Demon Souls, the remaster of Demon
Oh,
Souls.
The
And the Destruction Derby game. They were
which looks fun. I missed Destruction Derby. That was a brilliant game in its day.
I was watching a gameplay thing of it, and I was like, "Oh, this looks really Fortnite-y," and it really turned me off it.
The new one.
The one. It was just like the way they were like.
Oh, is that the one where the characters were even getting out of the car and everything?
Yeah.
Okay.
Um,
It's got that similar art style.
I'm sure Watch Dog Legion's out pretty soon after release because they're advertising that pretty heavily for PS5. There's also a bunch of PS4 games they're re-releasing, which I'm sure will be out on day
Oh,
dot.
they get that upgrade, like
the free
Valhalla.
upgrade. Yeah. So I'm sure there's going to be a bunch of games that are out that are not really PS5 releases, but they're re-releases, and those will all be digital and ready to go because they've already got the game code. It's not like they have to bug test it or anything. They just increase the texture resolution and press go.
I want more of that beer.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to hunt some of that down. That was really good.
I've got all the beers today from the Sackville Bottle Shop in Balmain.
What are we
Richard,
doing in Balmain?
I went to the Sackville Bottle Shop.
Oh, that's that you actually specifically.
It's a drive-through bottle shop. It's great.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
It's ironic when you think about it.
Yeah. We're not going to drink it in the cars. Well,
Well.
some people will.
I had a cola actually.
Oh,
It was refreshing.
was it a Pepsi Cola or a Coca-Cola?
Coca-Cola. The taste of a new generation.
You are such an advertising whore.
Yeah.
Have either of you jumped back into Jedi Fallen Order since the
Nah.
no?
Since
Not
the what?
The
answer's no, but since the what?
It was the latest update, and it wasn't
They gave a bunch of free stuff and like
wave like a create your own wave combat arena.
Okay. Is there more mission storyline stuff?
No, it's not story mission stuff. It's just
and
it
I
was
think
just
you got
an
like
arena
an
thing.
evil Cal skin, a Sith Cal skin or something.
It is one of the negative side effects of platinuming a game.
Yeah, we
Is
spoke
that-
about this last week. The made up word.
You just you never want to go back because you've already gotten the platinum trophy. So they release more DLC for me to run around and do nothing in. So what's the fucking point?
Oh, it depends on the DLC. There's some
If they add story,
Yeah,
if they add missions,
yeah,
different
yeah.
conversation. But when it's just here's a skin, I've already finished the game. Why do I want to run around with a fucking polka dot lightsaber? Whoop-de-doo. I've still got nothing to do with it.
polka dot lightsaber.
Yeah, I don't.
Sounds pretty cool. Just trying to visualize that.
It's like that insurance ad where the dog's running around with the
That is a
multicolored
fucking
lights. It is a
great
great ad. Yeah, they've got me on that one. I don't remember who it was for, but it's
clearly the advertising
get you.
didn't work.
no, it's just very well done and funny, and I chuckle every time I see it. So
Yeah, because I think the Ghosts update came in today.
like yesterday or today it was, and
Which adds the online
the
multiplayer.
Yeah,
okay.
It looks interesting. I'm gonna jump in and just have a look and see what it's like.
Has anyone else checked out Star Wars Squadrons yet?
No, it's still sitting there in the shrink wrap.
No, I looked at it online last night and it was the same price as a physical copy. So isn't that weird that we're obviously huge Star Wars fans, but it took you a week or 2 weeks to get it.
And I've only played it for a couple of hours.
You bought it day one and still haven't opened it.
I think I almost cracked it out today, but then I knew I definitely wouldn't come if I cracked that out on the 4th. That's a tomorrow job.
And I haven't even bought it. I guess for me it's a little bit of a time sink that I don't have at the moment. That I know
fair
that
enough.
once I get it, I know I'm going to be
Lose
on it
days
all
into it.
weekend.
Yeah, so Dan and I were talking while we were waiting for Tom, who was an hour and a half late. No, it wasn't quite an hour and a half.
See, I was
late.
about an hour late, but still, when I got here, I had to wait for you 10 minutes to fix your fucking camera. So
Yeah, and go and get the other one.
So I was talking to Dan before you got here, motherfucker. So I've only played the first, I think, 3 or 4 missions in the game. Campaign only. I'm not interested really in the multiplayer. I might get into that later, but I don't know. It kind of felt schizophrenic, and I admittedly I haven't given the game a fair run yet. I'd want to play it for a few hours. I was playing in VR, so I'll park the VR aspect for now. It felt a bit schizophrenic in that I find the shield system or the energy system quite arcadey.
Yeah.
You put all your power into shields, engines, or weapons. And then if you leave it there long enough, it powers up and then you get super duper weapons and you get, super shields and super engines and you get a boost on the engines and stuff.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So to me, that mechanic's quite arcadey. And yet the actual flight combat, how slow the spacecraft are, you can't turn on a dime. It's very simmy. And the fact that you're locked, simulation-y.
Yeah.
I was inventing another word. And the fact that you're locked into that first-person cockpit view is also very simulation-esque.
Yeah.
As is, you can turn off most of the HUD elements that help you and just rely on visualizing on the visual aspects of the gauges in your cockpit. So if you want to know how fast you're going, you've got to actually look at how far you've moved the thing. I did think it was cool that I was in the TIE Fighter and everyone, you guys were talking about how annoying it might be to have the lack of peripheral view looking out through a circular fish tank window the whole fucking time.
Yeah.
It didn't bug me. What I thought was cool was they're holding on to 3-dimensional joysticks, and when you're, I think when you're accelerating or decelerating, because I'm playing a female for that main character, she pulls in and pushes out to speed up and slow down.
Acceleration, yeah.
And then when she's rolling, you can actually see her hands moving in time, and it's pretty well fucking synchronized. So I thought that was cool.
Do you get a little bit of disconnect there when it's meant to be your hands, but they're not in that position holding those controls?
No, but it did occur to me, I wonder if they've implemented the 2 move controllers like they did in...
I saw a video of a guy, he posted just a video of him playing it, but he had like a proper flight sim setup, and he was using that and it looked amazing but he also had the full rig, like he had a chair that reclined back, he had the curved screen around his face, really got into it. But
they did that for No Man's Sky and I found it fucking annoying. So they implemented exactly what you just described, or what we kind of described there. You got the 2 move controllers, one's throttle and one's your joystick, and you move your hands as if you're holding throttle and joystick.
Yeah.
And within 10 minutes, it's fucking annoying as hell.
I remember you saying
it's not a natural position to be sitting on a couch with your hands at 90 degrees. When you want to open the canopy and get out of your ship after you've parked it on a planet, you've literally got to reach to the fucking canopy open switch thing and lift up with the button in order to open the door for you to climb out.
Yeah.
When you're walking around to get your gun out, because obviously you walk around without your fucking gun in your hand, to get the gun out, you reach over your shoulder, press down the grab button, and then pull it forward, and it gets the gun out. It's a cool idea conceptually, but in execution, it gets fucking old really quickly, especially when you're mashing your controller against the back of your couch is not fun. So, kind of a funny implementation. The VR aspect of the game, though, game changing.
Yeah.
Like, it's I think VR, there was a test mission or a test walk around in Battlefront 2 for VR.
It was the first. It was actually the first one because I had Battlefront 2 and then I went to get the X-Wing because it was the Rogue One X-Wing mission.
Yep.
So I downloaded that from the PlayStation Network and it said, waiting to install Battlefront. I'm like, you motherfuckers. Don't fucking have Battlefront 1, do I? So
I think I've probably got a physical copy you can borrow.
Battlefront 1. I only just deleted it the other day because I reinstalled GTA 5. So.
Right. So that was cool.
Yeah.
Being in VR, not so much the space combat, that's cool too, and I've been lucky in that I've never had any motion sickness from VR.
Yeah, I'll be interested to see how I deal with it.
If you get it, it's going to be in a spaceship game when you're rolling and moving forward. That's when it fucks people up, apparently. But standing in the base, and you've got the option to climb into your TIE fighter, and you can look up, and the TIE fighter's lit like off the ground on a like a grabber arm, and it's 12, 15 foot tall. You never really get that sense of scale watching the movies that it's TIE fighters are actually that fucking big.
Yeah.
Until you're looking up at this thing towering over you. It's really fucking cool. And I found the 10 seconds of launch games section where you're in the hangar bays for both sides and setting up your loadout and shit. I found that was more interesting than actually playing the game. But like I said, I haven't actually played the game for that long, so I haven't given it a fair run yet.
I think what's going to make me sick is the drift, when you can go in one direction, have your engine set in one direction and then lock it and drift.
I didn't do that, so I don't know how I responded. I did feel, and when I say I don't get motion sick, I don't get an effect badly enough that I have to say, oh, I can't do that again. That makes me feel weird. But you do get that. I do get that sensation, and it's usually when I'm standing on the spot, rotating in a circle.
Yeah.
Just to see if I can make myself sick. And yeah,
if I'm deliberately trying to make myself sick, sometimes I make
Well, the first thing I do
sick.
in every VR game is turn off the stupid staggered rotation or the staggered move forward thing. So I just want smooth Doom style movement.
Yep.
And I did that in this when I first got into the game, and I'm standing in a hangar looking at my X-wing, and I turned left, and the world moved, and obviously my body didn't move, and I went, oh, that feels cool. I want to do that again. And then I span around in circles. Oh, why not?
Yeah.
Why do people jump out of planes?
Trip yourself on all the cables that you're attached to, and pull your TV and your PlayStation off the cabinet. And
Sorry, I just asked a dumb question that I want to, a dumb rhetorical question that I want to fix. So why do people jump out of planes? It's got nothing to do with the sensation of anything we were talking about. It's for the adrenaline. But why do people jump out of a perfectly fine plane? Because they want a reaction. I did the same thing with VR. I'm not likening myself to those fucking hooligans.
Fair enough.
Rapscallions, a lot of them.
Full respect to them.
I think by the time we get back here, I'll have downloaded it and played it.
Well, it's going to be probably for 3 weeks until our next episode. So this will release this Thursday, hopefully. But I'm having some minor dental surgery on Wednesday, and I'm going to be out for a little while. And then there's Halloween, so that's going to be fun. It's probably going to be 2 or 3 weeks, so you got plenty of time.
Yep.
Cool. I think we might take a break because I need to get up and get another beer.
Yes.
Yep.
All right. We'll be back in a second. And we're back and having a random conversation in the break about how hard it is from a technical side to line up labels on beer cans. And I appreciate everything you've just said about the technicalities of functioning or making labeling machines function, but it still bugs the fuck out of me when the labels aren't straight.
Yeah, I mean,
it's just my OCD.
Yeah, it bugs me, but it's such a bastard of a thing. And you're usually going on wet cans. So if you're not going on wet cans, like condensation just after they've been filled, you're going on...
Please give me a title for this episode.
Wet cans. Or they're going on empty can shells, which have got no,
density
weight
to them?
Yeah, weight, no solidity. That's not the right term, is it?
I know what you mean, though.
Yeah, there's no weight or anything to them. So you're trying to put a label on an empty can shell without crushing the can shell, so you can't apply a right amount of pressure. Yeah. So they're just shit of a things to get on. But, I mean, they I've done so many of them in the last couple of weeks. I'm sick of it. I've got so many coming up too. It's crazy.
The life of a brewer.
Yes, that damn labeler.
So what are we drinking, Tomo?
I'm just...
Are you untapping it?
No. I'm just looking up how to pronounce the fucking word.
It'd be like Chardonnay or something.
Foedre?
Foedre.
I'm so glad you looked it up and still sound confused.
It's French. I don't speak French.
Foedre.
Foedre. I'm going to enjoy this. It's the single Foedre, I guess. It's from Hop Nation. It is their side project, the Site fermentation project. Sour blonde ale.
Okay.
Did you need to mark that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Kind of, not really, but yeah.
It's a very different label for Hop Nation, but I guess it's
their side project.
The reason I got this one is because we had actually, I think I missed that episode, but you had the red one, and you, Pete, didn't shut up about it for like the next 6 months. So I
don't even know what you're talking about.
I don't think we shut up about any of the Hop Nation beers, actually.
They did a red sour, fermented sour, and we had it on. And
was that the cherry one?
I think it maybe was, but I just remember. So I got this for you. That's what I'm saying.
Right.
I did a nice thing for you, Peter.
Thank you.
I was thinking about you while I was alone in a bottle shop.
So I'm not really sure what to make of that. Next topic. I got another Star Wars one, so I need a bit of airtime in between to talk about Star Wars.
I wrote that list earlier, and there was 2 Star Wars things on that too. So, what am I looking for?
So one of the things we're going to do in a future episode, probably the next episode actually, is we're going to watch a bunch of. What was your idea, Dan? Watch a bunch of indie fan films.
Oh yeah, fan films. Yeah,
we're going to add some commentary around the fan films.
Oh, is that the Red Rabbit Sour Red Ale?
That was it.
Yes. You went and bought more, Pete. You went and bought.
So it would have been the cherry red.
Quakers Cellars out of them.
Yeah. I do love a good cherry, like a complex cherry sour though. And I'm a bit upset with my. Yes, I do remember the Red Rabbit now.
I don't know which direction to go with that.
I'll Google it. It's all good. I'll throw it up on the video feed. If you're watching at home, yes. So we're going to do, an episode dedicated to reviewing fan films. I don't think just commentating on it.
Yeah, commentating.
It was just a little bit of homework, wasn't it?
Yeah,
maybe. I don't know. I think we will.
Yeah, I watched several. Once again, I keep blaming Tom for this. My obsession with Republic Commandos now.
You're welcome.
And I found more stuff that I've sent him over the last couple of weeks. That was the rabbit hole I went down.
Yeah, okay.
Just there are a couple of them. One popped up on my feed, my YouTube feed, and I watched it, and that led to the studio, which I went and watched more. The one that I dropped in the chat was Order 66 from the clone point of view, and I don't know if either of you guys watched that.
I had seen that before you'd sent it. Yeah.
Oh man, excellent!
See, this is a perfect example of some content that I would like to make, but it's only going to work for video content, because if you're listening to the podcast, it's going to be us talking about some random fan film that no one's seen.
Yeah, but you can put links in, and we can give a 10-second pause for them to pause the podcast, go and find it click on the link.
Just 10
on
seconds
YouTube,
of dead air,
and then then come back to it.
Yeah, maybe
it's doable.
But at least with fan films,
all you guys that listen under the bus, you might want to go to the video one for that one.
Yes. I haven't even tried this beer yet.
It's nice. It's got.
I can still smell pina colada in my glass.
Oh yeah, actually, I was just about to say it's got that creamy smell to it, but that might have been that you might have wrote. That might be the residual pina colada.
Ooh, that's nice. I like the
nice delayed sourness for me. You never get that tang from a sour. That just comes in just that little bit later.
Mid-palate, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a little bit more saliva-inducing.
It makes me salivate.
It's got a little bit of sort of oaky character to it, which I'm assuming it's by the barrel on the label. It might be barrel-aged.
Yeah,
Did you say it was barrel-aged?
It says port 2840.
It says on the side, it talks about how the barrel they used for this, the Foedre barrel they used came from the 1930s from South Australia.
This oak Foedre barrel was made in Hindmarsh, South Australia, just after World War II. For over 50 years, it was used to age port, and a couple of years ago, Duncan Sam took it back to South Australia on the back of a ute to get it recouped. This sour blonde was then fermented and aged in the Foedre back in Footscray using a combination of selected yeast and bacteria. It is a refreshing and complex sour beer with a lively acidity.
That is a perfect description of what it is.
I'm not getting much actual flavor notes out of it. I get the sour hit. I get the saliva, like the salivation.
But there's nothing. If they're just calling it a blonde ale, you're getting that oaky from the wood. You're getting that some light.
It smells very oaky.
Yeah, you're getting some of that light tannin too, which might be inducing the saliva reaction as well.
I thought that might be why the oak might be the reason that it's kind of delaying that sour punch.
I think it's a very different type of sour from the pina colada.
Oh,
and
definitely.
I mean that had a lot more.
But it's a barrel sour, so it's going to have a different body to it. It's going to have a different type of sourness.
It was probably soured before it went in the barrel, but it would have added to the complexity of it for sure. But
I've got to say, I feel ashamed that my favorite sour is still a mass-produced American craft-ish independent beer, and that's the Lolita by Goose Island.
Yeah.
And it was an aged, and I think I bought it from fucking Woolworths Liquor of all places, and it was a Magnum bottle, like it's a champagne bottle size.
You should have told me. I had a case of them sitting in my cellar at work
of Lolita.
Well, of the Sour Sisters range.
Yeah, okay.
I didn't know you'd like. I would have brought all four.
Well, that was a cherry. I don't know what type of sour it was.
Lolita, Halia, Gillian, and Madame Rose.
Okay.
They were the 4.
One of my favorites. It's just really complicated, really sour, and you still got a strong sour cherry hit.
Yeah.
And I'm ashamed because it's Goose Island, which, I mean, is a...
It's not cracking beers.
They do make cracking beers, but it's not really
There's a
craft,
reason
is it?
The Bourbon County Barrel Stout is one of the highest rated beers in the world. It blows your fucking head off.
And when you're in the Nevada desert in summer, a Goose Island IPA goes down a fucking treat. It's still got more flavor than like a Teddy.
I don't even think they're in comparison there, Pete.
I was about to say...
I was copping shit the other day. So I ran out of beer in my house, which is not something... It is a good story to start. Well, it's a good way to start a story, isn't it? I had someone come and stay at my place for a long weekend.
It can't have been that desperate because they've been sitting there for several weeks now.
Wait till I finish the story.
Okay.
They have been sitting there for several weeks. So I've got it. I mean, the Halloween party, I'm assuming they'll go because there's quite a few guys there that wouldn't know good beer if it smacked them in the head. And that's who I'm going to feed the Teds to.
You should leave them out in the sun for a bit while and skunk them.
Completely skunk.
Just to see if they notice.
They're still in clear glass bottles too, so that'd skunk.
So
really.
I had a friend come and stay for a long weekend, and she said that she loved Great Northern. That was her beer. So I bought a case because I couldn't find a 6-pack, and I was shopping online. I think it was Woolworths delivered or some shit. So I bought a case of Great Northern. She drank 2. She drank like 3 bottles of fucking vodka while she was here, but she only took 2 beers. And so I've had a case minus 2 beers ever since. I ran a beer the other day and cracked one. And it's like, this is the first time I've had a mass-produced beer in, I don't know, almost a decade, I would think. And I forgot how watery they are.
Insipid and watery and just nothing.
There's nothing.
That's what they're meant to be.
But I drank 4 of them and I couldn't get pissed on them either. So to me, it was just like, is this just a way of boiling my water?
I think Great Northern's mid-strength too, isn't it?
Yeah, there's 2. There's one.
I'm sure it is.
Yeah.
There's a full strength and a mid-strength one.
It's probably like 3.5%.
Yeah, I think it is.
I think there's one more in the fridge. I might check in a second.
They appeared at my I had my sister's wedding on the weekend at the Bucks party a couple of weeks ago. That was
Congratulations, Tom's sister. Commiserations to Tom's sister's husband.
Ouch.
It's just an asshole thing to say. I got no reason to say it.
Hey, and Dan's
Never meant either
a
of
fan,
them.
and he listens to the podcast every episode. So, sorry, Daniel. Welcome to the family. I'm glad you're there. But yes, we had a whole bunch of Great Northerns on the golf course while we were playing drunken golf, and it was just like by the end of it, I was like, I think I've had like 12 beers, and I'm like, I'm just
Not
I've
drunk.
had 2 IPAs. Like,
Yeah.
I'm so used to those bigger strength beers.
Yeah.
But we start at
it's
like
nothing.
5.5% and go from there. And a lot of those mass-produced beers are pretty low ABV
Yeah, I've
because
talked
they
about
want to sell shitloads of them, right?
I've been getting my mate Chris into his beer more now, and it's funny because he for years all he drank was like Carlton Dry and stuff, and then we'll have a bunch of like nice 5.5% pales, and they just always hit you that little bit harder when they're a smaller brewery. It's like, and it's just funny watching him like for the first time being like thinking he could still drink the same amount he could before when it was like half water, and it's just like, oh dear, yeah.
And a pale doesn't have a very strong flavor profile by nature, so it's a good segue into. But even a pale with the style doesn't have a whole lot of strong flavor in it, and yet it's 10 times more flavorful than any mass-produced beer you'll try. So it's a nice way to start. And if they get a surprise out of that, then they got a whole lot of shit in store for them when they get into the real stuff.
Yep.
Not that pale's not real.
Yep.
Anyway, next topic, Tomo.
Nope, I started the topic. I actually haven't done much. I've been working so much, and I had a wedding.
There's a bit of that going on at the
Oh
moment.
yeah. How is everything now? It's reopened. Probably not for chatting on here, but
How has the reopening been? I think we open restrictions up to 30 people in a booking now rather than 10 as of this
really?
coming Friday, I think.
Yeah, we haven't had the official word from the government yet. It's still just what you read on ABC News and stuff today. So
Are you taking the piss out of me? I'm not sure.
no. That's because it's the same. I went to my boss today and I was like, so we can book for 30? And it's like, well, not until we get an official government order. It's like,
Yeah,
copy
right.
that. Yep. Yeah, it's been good. Yeah, we did reopen hops. That was fun. Had some batch beers that they rebrewed.
When you say you reopened Hops, I was in Uncle Hops So was Dan 3 or 4 weeks ago. Was it?
That
before?
was the first night.
That was the.
Oh, was that opening
Yeah.
night?
Yeah, you guys
Okay.
came down opening night. Yeah, so no, the bar space.
I was there to
has been-
support you, mate.
I know.
Didn't even know it was reopening, but anyway.
That's why I said let's go there.
The bar space had been, because you can walk through that bar. It had been reopened because we had to use it as a seating room, but we weren't pouring out of the taps.
Right.
So-
Okay.
Yeah, it's a slow process, but we'll get there.
It's been good? Popular?
Yeah, surprisingly good first couple of weekends. So we're happy, especially with
almost-
the new brewery opening around the corner and some of the other beer-focused pubs and bars in the area. Had some absolutely fucking cracking events on while we were reopening. I was like, oh, I really did this at the wrong time. But
What was the one around the corner?
Mountain Goat has opened.
That's
Brewery.
that's the new. Yeah.
Their little. It's meant to be more of a brew pub, but they unfortunately the brewer they were bringing up is still stuck in Melbourne, which is a bit of a shame.
Yep.
But yeah, I've went and checked it out. I can now claim this. I was the first person to walk through their doors as a paying customer.
Awesome.
Completely by chance.
Yep.
Went to meet a mate for lunch and we were like, oh, we'll get there around 2. You know, hopefully the crowd's kind of died down by then. And we get there and they're just like, oh, just line up, guys. You guys are the first 2. And we're like, oh, okay. Oh, I guess I can claim that now. There you go. That's cool.
It's almost a balance where like you want to reopen with a bit of fanfare, but you don't want too many people coming in either. It's kind of a weird line to walk, right?
It is, no, because there were so many little cobwebby things we needed to like get rid of to reopen that bar. And it was just like, it was a quiet first night. And I was like, oh, I'm actually kind of really relieved that it was like that.
It's not just that. It's also that you can't have that many people actually in the space because of the 4 square meter rule and all the rest of it. So
restrictions.
Everyone's excited that you reopen. You end up with a queue a mile long down the road and you can't let anyone in.
It's also like running events and things like that are risky at the moment because you can run an event, but how many people can you get into the event?
And you only need one fucker with COVID, and
well, it's also that.
And then you shut down again, right?
That aside, but I mean, how many people are you going to annoy that you can't let in?
Yeah,
because you're running an event that they really want to go to, but you can't because you can't have the people, and there's so much that goes on with it at the moment. But
it's complicated.
What do you
time
fucking do?
Yeah, that's it. It's complicated time
More
to be
beers
drinking.
for the people. That's what I do.
Yeah, that batch Simcoe IPA that was on there was awesome. Yeah, that was almost one of my favorite beers of the day when we were out.
What was the name of it?
It was their single hop Simcoe IPA.
Yeah,
it was one of the small batch releases, and I'm pretty sure they're redoing it. They're scaling it up.
Yeah. Okay. Nice.
Cool.
Package as well.
Yeah.
Awesome. I love that. I got a soft spot for Simcoe. I love Simcoe. We couldn't get it for so many years, so you had to be contracted for it, and there was only a certain amount that came into Australia, and if you didn't have a contract for it, you couldn't get it. And now it's all just scaled up, and I've got contracts for it now, so
how cool,
plenty for it.
So fuck everyone else.
You got to do what you got to do.
That's true. Should we? I might give the glasses a quick rinse while you guys talk about something.
Yeah, cool.
Or do you want to pause and
No,
okay.
we're good. Unless you want me to pause.
No, not at all.
So my next topic was Star Wars related. So have you got anything that's not Star Wars?
I know I have one. Well, we touched on it earlier, Cyberpunk. So I don't know whether you guys have seen it. They keep doing Night City Wire because Night City is the city that you're in Cyberpunk, Cyberpunk 2077. And I think it's every 3 weeks or maybe it's every month, they've been doing Night City Wire. And it's about a 25 to 30 minute long. Basically, the developers talking about what they've done and how they've built and introducing the world. Do you want me to wait?
No, it's fine.
The world.
It's annoying me, but it's not being picked up on the mic.
The weapons, the clothing, the cars, the factions, the everything like that. But they just did the vehicles in the one that just passed. It was released on the weekend.
Yep.
And
Thanks, Tom.
Yeah, they're awesome, post-apocalyptic, cyberpunky. They've done a fucking fantastic job. And then Johnny Silverhand, who is Keanu Reeves' character.
Yep.
So he's like a ghost in the machine in that, and they've given him a 1977 Porsche 911.
Oh, nice.
So when Cyberpunk 2077 out it's exactly 100 years old. And they have an actual physical car of it, But they showed all the designs of the cars, all from the economy ones, which are like the little smart cars. Like what do we have these days? I think they actually are called smart cars.
Yeah, the little smart
They
cars.
look like roller skates.
Yep.
They have those. They have luxury vehicles, which are big sort of dual front axles.
Yep.
So their front steer as well. So when the four wheels turn.
Right. So they're four-wheel steer because they're all front steer.
Well, it's four-wheel steer on the front, but the rears don't rear-wheel drive.
Right.
But then all four at the front.
There's steering. 4 wheels on the front.
4 wheels
axle.
on the front and 2 on the back. So dual front axles. And singles on the back.
Right.
And it's just the animation of the 4 wheels turning was really cool. But
I must admit I haven't seen much on Cyber.
I saw the image of the Porsche.
Yeah.
It did look fucking cool.
Yeah. And they did.
I've never been a Porsche fan.
They did, with the sound design for all the vehicles, they got like vehicles that we actually have these days. And they had some rally teams with them, and they walked them through where to hook the microphones into the cars to get the right sound that they were looking for.
Yeah, cool.
So they hooked microphones in these cars, and then they had stunt drivers drive them around an airfield to gather all the sound design for it all.
It's funny. I know it's way off topic for this podcast, right? But I'm not really a petrol head. I just like nice cars, and don't ruin. It's one of those peel labels for more information.
I knew you were going to do that.
Sorry,
I could
mate.
see it out of the corner of his eyes.
Carry
Like,
on.
the photo,
motherfucker.
I was peeling it very carefully. So
Introduce the beer. Sorry, carry on.
Anyway, before Pete yells at me anymore, we are drinking from Beerfarm in WA. Christ.
Sorry, mate. Crikey.
This is the Woolya Red Ale, brewed with WA native Cyclops wattle seed and Wata wattle seed from Roseland's Village Farm. Roland's Village Farm, I apologise. So it's done in collaboration with Foedre, who, from memory, employ Indigenous Aboriginal communities to go out and sustainably source all the ingredients.
Nice.
Yeah,
look at those labels.
But pretty.
That is
such an expensive label, but geez, it looks good.
Oh wow! And the printing on the can as well.
Yeah, that's what I saw. I didn't actually see the back of it. I've seen them before.
Stops there for the photo, but yeah, it's it's nice and shiny on the inside. There is a lot of information that I'm not going to read.
Yeah,
but would be probably cool to take a photo of.
I will take a photo of it.
The Instagram.
Not only the expense of those labels, but somebody has put so much time into like designing, layout, writing, and everything on those. What
does it talk roughly about? The Aboriginal tribes that are native to the area that they collected the...
Talks about which communities they partnered with to collect the ingredients.
That's really cool.
And how this is number 7 in the series of the native series. So I think we did their stout one time. They did a strawberry gum stout. Delicious.
So what is it? A Gypsy Brewing company that?
No, Beerfarm. They have their own brewery in Margaret River.
Yeah. I'll read that later.
Thank you for breaking my bad run on Reds. I have completely and utterly avoided Reds for years for 12 months since Lebanon, because I had that horrendously bad red, and it was like drinking a bottle of battery acid. And this is fucking tasty. It's complicated. You can taste the malt.
It's got a weird, not weird, bad weird, but it's got a back palate spiciness to it.
Yeah, it does. It really does.
Obviously from the botanicals, but it's something that you don't expect to be.
It is
there.
wattly. That's because we had a wattle seed IPA at Gabs a couple of years ago.
We've had a couple of wattle ones, yeah. Yeah, it's nice.
It's quite bitter.
I probably would like a little bit more sort of body to it.
And you gave me shit about it.
Well, they're your coasters, so.
You would have liked some more body to it. Is that what you were saying?
A little bit more malt, just a touch more malt body to it. With that botanical side of it just comes off a little bit thin. But that flavor wise, it's great.
It's a full hit.
Yeah, it's beautiful
color.
Yeah.
And a solid bitterness that carries through the palate as well. So
But that's probably all from those botanicals as well, not just because it's not really a hop bitterness.
You know what the problem is?
You do it well.
When you wash the glasses, because once the bottom gets wet, they're going to stick to the coaster.
See, your fault again, Tom.
No, it's not Tom's fault.
It's fine. It's fine. I'll just
Just physics.
Anyway.
Star Wars.
No, you were talking about not being a.
Oh yeah, I'm
petrol
not a petrol head. It's not like I watched fucking Bathurst or anything like that. But I've never been a big fan of. Well, first the thought that got me there was I've never been a big fan of the Porsche shape. I think back in the 60s, 70s, classic, when they were actually classics, they were sexy looking cars. To go back and see the classics now, all the vintage Porsches, they're sexy. But go and buy a Porsche today and it looks exactly the same. And I'm just like, what? Everyone else's design language has evolved over time. Even like if you compare the Aventador, the Lamborghini, I'm probably saying that wrong, but the latest Lamborghini to the old Lamborghini Diablos, and they've smoothed out all those harsh panels. It's still very much a Lamborghini, but it's evolved over time, the design language. But it made me remember an article I read about the new Rolls-Royce Ghost 2, which is their latest ultra luxury, $600,000-$700,000 car, was so quiet. They built a car to be completely and utterly quiet for the passenger because they've got a busy day and they're multi-billionaires and all the rest of it. And they made it so quiet it was making test drivers nauseous or test passengers nauseous because they're in a sealed environment with absolutely zero noise.
I don't know that exact feeling because I'm super rich. I'm no way like that.
Just to clarify.
We have our green room for the band area upstairs at the pub.
Yeah.
We have a fully carpeted, soundproofed room.
Oh, really?
And sitting in that with the doors closed, it's
Eerily.
It's like
now
like
add motion.
And you feel like the sound is being like sucked out of your ears.
Is this where you go to play the Imperial March before you start a big night?
Probably should.
Fucking A.
No, I plugged my phone into the...
We should record the podcast in there.
Plug my phone into the house speaker system and I put on the Vader moment from Rogue One. Then I'm like, I'm going to go deal with customers.
I would have played Duel of the Fates. Still my favorite Star Wars track of all time. But no, so they filled like the entire roof liner was filled with sound deadening. There's double glazing there's a composite panel inside the glass for double glazed windows. The entire doors are...
So when you say it makes the passenger sick, what are they, like cabined off from the driver?
Yes, but it's not so much that because it's like a typical, what do you call it? A
limousine.
Limousine, thank you.
Okay.
But it's more that because the world is moving around you, but your body is so stabilized with the soft fucking suspension and the complete and utter silence that your eyes and your ears aren't saying the same thing anymore, which is what causes motion sickness. It goes back to VR. Yeah, well, it's almost, it's exactly opposite. Your eyes are telling you that you're moving, but your inner ear is saying you're staying still. Yeah. Well, in these cars, it was the opposite. And so they actually had to reduce, they ended up piping sound into the cabin at a specific frequency so that you can feel that you're moving without breaking the silence concept.
Yeah, okay. And it's like white noise.
And it's the same now with electric cars. So all the semi-electrics is that they found that they're so silent, people get sick in ludicrous mode on a Tesla because it's like there's no warning for a passenger. If you've ever noticed when you're driving over a speed hump or you're about to hit the accelerator or you know the gear's about to change and you're the driver, your whole body stays pretty stable while you're driving, but your passenger's fucking doing this all over the place. It's because you can predict the movement, but they can't.
Yeah. And so every time I take a corner, Emma just like reaches up. I'm just like, I don't take them that sharply. She's like, no, I just need it. It's the same thing, like, because normally she'd stabilize against the wheel if she was driving.
Yeah, so it's the same thing in a Tesla. With the ludicrous mode, it's like everyone says it's like a roller coaster because there's zero warning. You don't hear the engine rev with that microsecond before you start the forward motion.
Because even when you take your foot off the brake,
you
have that slight crawl before you... And before, and the engine changes.
But whether you're in I'm in a single turbo 4-cylinder, and it's a quick car. But if I go flat to the floor in race mode, there's still a couple of heartbeats of noise as the engine spools before you get the G-force. But on an electric car in ludicrous mode, you put your foot down and there is zero sound.
Yeah.
So the engine's not revving. It's just more kilowatts are going from the battery to the
wheel.
To the wheel.
To the ground.
Who's the guy? He's like the Monster Energy driver, and he he does a lot of things where he has like a custom built Ford Fiesta, and he does those. He drove up the those massive set of stairs in China. He like drove a car up there, and it was like meant to be, couldn't be done, and like it's pretty windy and stuff. But he got it up there. But he had a fully electric one that he was meant to hoon around in. He's called like the Hoonigan or something. And the sound it made was one of the worst things I've ever heard. When that electric motor like went to like 11, it was just, it was like banshees like screaming at you. And that
the
was
old sirens.
I was trying to find his name.
I can only imagine how bad it
that.
must have been actually in the car, let alone me listening to it through a YouTube like video. But you saw like the way they sat, like, and it was just like, you see like they had the split view, and it's like foot to the ground, and then the dude in the passenger seat just like junk, like, almost knocks himself out.
I might. I really need the men's, so I might just take a quick break at that point. I've got something else to say on the car topic, which we're not a car channel, so I don't know why we're talking about it, but I'll come back to it. It's all tech related. We'll make it related somehow.
It'll be like 30 minutes of recording, then 30 minutes of
dead air,
just the logo, with the audio over the top, and then 30 minutes.
Oh, it's such an amateur thing. So yes, we're back, but yeah, the video released to YouTube. I wasn't happy with the sharpness of the image from the last one, so I'm using a much bigger camera, but it doesn't have a flippy floppy screen, so there's no way to see what the fuck I'm filming because I've got the camera in a cupboard, and using my phone to try and see what's on the screen behind the camera is very difficult. To finish off the topic on cars, I don't know why I ended up talking about cars, but it interests me, and fuck y'all.
Brum brum, go fast.
These days, even like a V8. So if you look at the AMG Mercedes-Benz V8s, right? So they've been V8 twin turbos for a long, long time. They started at 6.5 litres. Then they went to 5.5 litres, or 6.7, I think they were. Then they went to 5.5 litre twin turbos. They're now down to 4 litre twin turbos, and they're putting out more torque and more power output than the old ones. But because the engines are getting smaller, you're not getting that V8 grunt that everybody wants. And it's not just Mercedes, it's also BMW and Audi and all the other big manufacturers. They're now tuning they're now tuning the sound, the firewall resonating frequencies and the exhaust resonating frequencies to pipe engine noise into the cabin that is totally different to the noise that anyone sitting on the sideline can hear as the car passes.
Yeah, but fuck those people outside. Yeah. Well, you kind of want a little bit of that, but that's why you drive.
Having worked on King Street for 5+ years now, believe me, they want the people on the street to hear it.
Yeah, as someone
especially
who used to,
since we're right near a set at like a big like intersection with a set of red lights, and they just the amount of guys who rent cars and drive down King Street in Newtown
just
on
to be
a Friday,
toss
Saturday
bag.
night, and it's like
look at my Lamborghini,
beautiful cars. Not his, he's rented it definitely, but there's like 6 of them in a row, and then they go.
You know what's funny about those guys? None of them can fucking drive.
No, they can go very, very fast
in
and
a straight line.
Stop at the next red
Yeah,
light, which is
why drive
30 meters down the road
through Newtown? It's like the most dense
stop-start,
the most dense street of.
But George Street was the same. You always used to get the Lambos and the Ferraris down George Street.
It's like,
yes, look how small my cock is. That's all it's ever been about.
Fucking drive it to Wollongong if you're going to do that. Get out on the freeway.
But as 2 out of 3 of us used to own Harleys, and Dan was very much more a Harley owner than I ever was, but we owned Harleys. It's a case of you want loud pipes so the guy in the Camry that doesn't check his blind spot knows you're there and doesn't drive over you changing lanes.
Yeah.
But then when you're in suburbia pulling up at like the local shops to have a coffee, you really wish your pipes are a little quieter.
This is why I haven't bought another one yet, because I want to ride it to work. But
you don't want to be that obnoxious guy, because we're at that age where...
I left at 20 to 6 this morning. I don't want to be and I live on a little bit of a hill. I could at least roll it down and go around the corner.
That's why I need to get one of the new Mustangs, because they have the quiet mode.
Oh, really? You just flick it until you get out of the street?
Then you get out of when you want to go fast.
Well, I used to have an old...
Speaking of, you're driving, aren't you?
Yes, yes.
All the cars are like that now with the ports in the exhaust, so you can turn the exhaust sound down. Which is just amazing.
Yeah, but nothing's ever going to beat my old... I had a 79 XB, Ford XB, and I love driving that thing. I wish I had the money at the age that I had it to keep it, because I paid nothing for it, and it probably only needed 10 grand's worth of work.
Yeah.
And you can't get one now for
Love or money.
40 grand.
Yeah, wow.
And I paid 5 grand for it.
Fuck. Yeah.
And ridiculousness. And it needed, I was just too young. I didn't have the money to keep it. The insurance was ridiculous.
Yep.
But it was an absolutely amazing car to drive. I loved it. I don't think any new car I will ever drive will ever replicate that
feeling.
Old muscle car. The weight of the body and it did have power steering, but it was very early on rudimentary power steering. But it just the weight and the size and the sound and the feel. And
I've been trying to explain this to Emma, so I've got this. I call it.
This has turned into a car podcast.
Yeah, sorry.
It was a beer
technology.
podcast.
I got it, one, because it was bright green, so I called it Hulk.
Yeah,
and
perfect.
2, it was the Mad Max car. It was the Interceptor, the V8 Interceptor.
Yeah, see, pop culture reference. There
That's
you go.
actually why I bought it.
I'm talking about a Netflix series that I enjoy. There we go. I'm leading into that, which is a pop culture reference. Nailed it. We're doing really well, guys. But
Oh, it's nice.
I watched this show. I don't know if you guys have ever seen it come up. It's called Rust Valley Restorers, and it's my guilty pleasure show. And Emma laughs at it, but then she sits there and she gets engrossed in it. It's one of those things.
I can't talk about my guilty pleasure because no one will ever look at me the same way.
Probably not. But it's it's set in like deep South British Columbia, Canada, and it's this dude who's got this giant yard of 400 old muscle cars.
Oh,
And
it's on Netflix.
yeah. Oh. That was a good sound.
Speaking to the soul.
Yeah, but it's just that thing of like, I've always wanted to own an old muscle car, and I drive a little shitty Fiesta, and she's been good to me for 10 years. But you know, she's getting on.
The old
But,
festy beaver.
yeah, I'd love to have a little just an old muscle car, just that feel of it's the weight of the steel going around corners. I was lucky enough to rent a Camaro SS in Boston. And I've never had as much fun driving a car.
A current one or an old school one?
One of the new ones. And even that.
And that's kind of the problem in Australia. Like what are they? You see them everywhere now. My brain's not working at the moment. SRTs. No, nothing.
Oh, the Holdens with the Chevy badges.
No, that's
It's a weird thing.
that's
but yeah,
just
it
a
happens.
farce. No, they're not Camaros.
Oh, the Chryslers.
No, well, you've got the 300C. That was a muscle car that came out to Australia.
Yeah, the
but-
cops have got them now.
You do have a little mini computer right there with you that you could probably find out
it's
what
not even worth
exactly the
talking
fuck
about
you're
it.
talking
I
about.
prefer to segue into something that's actually on top
Yeah.
now.
The beer.
Yes, let's talk about the beer, please.
But, before you go there, I completely agree. That the V8 that I had, the ridiculousness. The front seats were beautiful. The back seat was comfy too, but you could not get. It was only about 2 or 3 inches of back floor space between the seat was huge.
Yeah.
But you couldn't get your feet in. I literally had to turn my feet sideways to get my feet in the back, and then you'd get under the front seat, and then you could turn it back forward again.
Yeah.
But it's just ridiculousness. They'd only needed 2 seats. But anyway, excellent cars. Drive one if you can.
What are we drinking?
This is Garage Project from New Zealand. Wonderful brewery. This is their Pernicious Weed, the yuzu version. Pernicious Weed is one of their big, dank hop bomb IPAs. And this one they've added a whole bunch of yuzu zest to. The wonderful artwork. Don't know if the camera can see that, but let's hope it can.
Very few people do proper IPAs this good.
Yeah.
It's fucking tops.
Big bitterness, but not harsh bitterness, but like solid, big bitterness.
Fresh hops for a New Zealand beer that's travelled.
Yeah. Not super.
This is the super fresh release as well. I think the guys at the Sackville said that this had come in last week. So,
But even so, to travel across the ditch on a boat.
Yeah, there's no oxidization to it.
Yeah.
No, nothing. It hasn't got that sickly sweet body that a lot of the American-made American IPAs have.
It's got that real bitter acidity to it too
Yeah,
that you expect out of a solid IPA.
Yeah.
the hops they use Nelson Southern and Rakau.
Yeah, no, that's very tasty. It's got just a little bit of juicy, but it's not overly juicy.
Yeah.
I find a lot of IPAs in Australia these days, you get the hop hit, and it's just over the top hop hit, and then you just get like fucking tropical juice.
Everything's triple dry, double dry, quadruple dry hopped these days.
And
And
it's-
that's what people want to
But
Take
then
photos of them and
IPAs,
post on Facebook.
IPAs in Australia have segued kind of into NEPAs. You almost don't get pure IPAs as much as you get NEPAs these days.
I think that's why that
The Hazy Boys.
why the batch Simcoe IPA spoke to me so much.
Yeah.
It was a good
Traditional
single hop West Coast IPA.
Yeah.
It was just good. Yeah.
It's just not. It's just the extremism in beer in Australia at the moment.
That is definitely a palate killer, though.
That's why I say that.
That's why we finished.
It's
with
also
wanna have
8. It's also 8%.
Don't want anything with too much nuance after that because it's not gonna come
You wouldn't
through.
taste it.
I mean, they end their little blurb. They have in prophecy. In the future, all IPAs will have fruit in them. Original cult classic Pernicious weed, now in delicious yuzu flavor. Super sour, fresh yuzu zest and freshly squeezed juice collide head-on with Nelson Southern and Rakow in a giant, foamy, super golden, fruity citrus hop bomb explosion. It shouldn't taste this good, but it does, just for shits and giggles.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's awesome. And perfect description for what we were just finished talking
Yeah.
about, right? It's a traditional IPA without all the bells and whistles and bullshit.
Yeah. And so few done these days.
Yeah.
Bring back the West Coast.
Bring back the West Coast. Hashtag bring back the West Coast. There we go. There's one to start. Everybody spam your local brewers,
Yeah.
all their social media. Hashtag bring back the West Coast. Yep.
I'll throw that up on our Insta post.
Yeah, there you go. There's the episode title for you.
We've been strangely unblessed by Podcast Cat tonight. It's probably the first episode in 10 that
I got nudged a bit.
we got the ginger,
around.
Yeah.
They're
Got the
kicking around.
ginger minge hanging around.
What were you, someone was going to talk about, once again, another Star Wars topic.
Mandalorian.
And the other series that are going to spin off from that. And
Yeah, so Mando season 2's out at the end of the month. So we're half a
so a week and a
couple of
half.
weeks.
Hey,
There it is.
Hey, this
This
not
is the
Podcast
wrong one.
Cat. That's Loki, the god of mischief, and he will bring mischief. So we got Mando season 2 coming at the end of the month in a couple of weeks' time, and they're already they'll be filming season 3 before Christmas.
Really?
So in October, they've really only got about 6 or 7 weeks. So I read an article from Pedro talking about how the pandemic wasn't really a surprise to him subconsciously, but it was kind of weird. But then everyone's wearing masks in filming the series anyway, so it really wasn't much of an issue for them. And that with all the screen technology they're using really hasn't impacted them at all.
Yeah, right.
Which I think is cool. I mean, it's going to be at least one, because there's going to be a gap. This reminds me kind of the writer strike back in the early 2000s, where just every TV series just went off the air for a couple of years.
Always really bad for a couple of seasons.
It was written by film school students suddenly took
bad.
over writing.
Yeah.
Because the Writers Guild was on strike for some reason.
They wanted to be paid more or something, or more. I don't know. It was probably pay related, but I think they wanted more, like headlines in the credits or something like that.
Okay.
More,
and fair enough. I mean, if you're the guy writing the story, man.
Yeah.
But Favreau and Filoni were talking about the possibility of a Mandalorian movie because someone asked them the question, and they haven't confirmed a movie or anything crazy. They've just said they haven't ruled it out.
Yeah.
And then they went on to describe that the line between a TV series and a movie these days doesn't really exist for them. So, they could easily segue in. They could do 2 or 3 seasons of Mando and then go into a Mandalorian movie and then segue straight back into another 2 or 3 seasons. And it would just be, I told you, his name's Loki for a reason. So
you've got to watch that making of, even if you just watch
really
the one episode where they show the screens.
Is it on Disney Plus?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I've seen it.
It's
there. I
called
haven't
The
watched
Gallery.
Yeah, okay. I'll have to watch it.
All of the episodes are really great. The music one I found incredibly interesting as well. But if you just watch the one with the screens, everything you're talking about now will be 1,000 times more clear.
Yeah, okay.
And just the technology that they have and what they actually do with those screens and how little they actually physically have there, even though it looks like everything is there.
Yeah. And it does look very authentic. Like it's an authentic Western, right? It looks like a traditional soundstage that they used to set up for those Western movies. And
the first time I watched episode 2, where he's taking the child back to the ship, and he walks through the canyon where the Trandoshans attack.
Yep.
I said to Louise, I wonder where they filmed this. Like, I wonder what country they went to get this,
the natural set.
actual location.
Yeah.
It's all fucking digital. Everything is digital. And
yet it's not poxy, obvious digital that ruins the movie.
No.
The show.
The shot where he turns his head and you see the reflection in the helmet of the Trandoshan jumping over, that was on the screen that reflected in his helmet that they were filming. So that's what a couple of the VFX artists guys have done things as well, saying with someone with such reflective armor, that there's so little post
that they
fucking
have to
around that they have to do. So it's just time, it's money, and this is what we were talking about off air earlier, was now they've spent all this money, now they use it. They're building more of those studios. They're building one here to film Thor 4.
Yeah, okay.
So they're building one here and another one in America.
I wonder if they're using it for Shang-Chi.
They could be, yeah.
Wouldn't surprise me.
I sent you guys that photo of the dude in
the Shang-Chi set. Or
the crew
shirt, yeah.
He was in my pub talking
yeah.
to the DJ.
Yeah.
It's just like, I went up to ask him, I was like, tell us something. He's like, no.
They're all on
okay.
hardcore NDAs.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
but like, so they're not ruling out a movie, and we were talking before we started recording that it's very likely. I mean, they've already confirmed an Ahsoka spin-off series, but they, Disney Plus is open to whatever is popular in the series is quite likely to spawn a spin-off.
Yep.
And we're at a point where at $13 million an episode for the TV series, it's actually not hard to see how you could end up. It's now more expensive to make the TV series than it is to do the movie.
Yeah. But then you go and look at what they were doing for Game of Thrones, and it was like something ridiculous, like $100 million, because they were filming in 4 different countries.
Yeah.
With
you have to
like
get the
full
permits
crews
and all that.
And then you got to
stuff,
fly the fucking the cast there and
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah.
But then they were making a shit ton of money out of that.
Yeah, but imagine now they're going to be spending a tenth of that budget on each episode, filming in one location and doing
In
the
some
same
dude's
amount of
house.
visuals.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I mean, it's just.
Well,
and,
I mean,
then making that money on top of that.
Yeah.
I mean, if they make that money on top of that and then reinvest it in other better things and advancing all that, I mean, we all win. I mean, this is why we do this shit for these guys to
that's exactly
create
right.
this stuff.
And the fact that the lines graying between TV and movies can only benefit us as watchers as viewers.
Yeah. He's going to start chewing the cables in a minute.
This is what happens
He's
when
enjoying it.
podcast strikes.
So the one other, have we spoken about Bad Batch on here?
No.
So
we briefly touched it. I think.
So Pete, you wouldn't know the Bad Batch.
No.
They're from season 7 of Clone Wars. They are.
You have talked about it though.
So they are the Squad 99, which is a reference to earlier in Clone Wars, and they're basically clones that the Kaminoans tried to do different things with them. So hyper intelligent, the
super fast reflexes, extra strength, endurance,
size,
super soldiers.
Super soldiers, but they're the Bad Batch because they only made one of them,
right?
And they all ended up in the one squad, and they're kind of the outcast offshoots, and. The rumor is
the podcast is falling apart.
It is just because Loki's knocking shit and rubbing your face on every microphone.
We moved the camera to get it away from Loki's asshole, and then he walks to the opposite side of the table to rub his face against it. Anyway,
so the Bad Batch is coming. The series is out next year in animated, fully animated, same as Clone Wars, but so
it's its own series now.
It's its own series. But there is talks. No, they haven't released much information, but there is talks that it could potentially be in line with Order 66 and then post Order 66.
Yeah, cool.
And how they reacted to the order and what happened afterwards.
Filoni was saying that there is a void now that they've finished the Skywalker series. There is a void to fill in the Star Wars universe, and they haven't really settled on what they're going to do next as a major storyline. And really, with the success of Mando, the fact that they're already doing an offshoot for Ahsoka, they really don't need to fill the void to make the same cash.
No.
And to me, doing more live action series along the lines of Mando, just in the sense that they can do a series with an aesthetic specific to the character, they can go and explore various side characters pretty easily now. It's a better outcome for us as viewers.
Yeah.
They don't
That's
have
what
to,
what we've been clamoring for the entire time was always more live action Star Wars.
and they don't have to spend 6 years thinking and planning and writing and then executing before it makes it to screen. It doesn't have to be a 6-year gap between someone going, you know what would be a cool idea, to some poor bastard sitting in a theater and paying for a ticket.
Yeah.
Now that's 12 months, and you're.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that they're releasing Mando season 2 at the end of October and they're filming season 3 before Christmas. There's really not much lag going on anymore.
Yeah.
And I think the technology is very much supporting that, but it's also being driven, the tech is being driven forward by the demands of what they're trying to achieve.
Oh, there's
It's
another
the
one.
first time ever we've had both cats on screen at the same
I
time.
think they were up last time.
Oh, really?
So, yeah, right at the end. But yeah, and all driven by Filoni and Favreau.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Oh, Dave Filoni is one of the best things that's happened to Star Wars.
Oh, 100%.
Oh, big
His
time.
knowledge is ridiculous.
Yeah.
So,
How do we end up with two cats?
You own two cats and we film in your house?
Have we got anything else to take us out, or are we going to end here?
I feel like we're being taken over. This is an invasion. This is an invasion.
they just want pats. That's all
Yeah,
they
I
want. They're
know.
just going
I
person to person.
I don't know why suddenly tonight Loki's decided to be the attention whore, but I think we might end the episode on that note. Cat's asshole, Cam. Do we need any? Is there any housekeeping to be done? Go and check out our YouTube YouTube channel if you haven't already. All the episodes that we'll be doing from now on, or last episode onwards, will be up on YouTube. Piss off. Yeah, and we're on Spotify and everywhere else for audio-only podcasts, which is kind of not a thing anymore. So,
I guess, the only other thing is if you want some of the tasty beers we had, go check out the Sackville Bottle Shop.
Yeah.
yeah.
Last episode, we got them all from the Union Bottle Shop, so I think we should throw some shout-outs to the guys who are supplying us good beer.
Yep.
Yeah. And we're on Untapped. So if you look up Pixels and Pints on Untapped, if you want to see exactly what we're trying, it's up on every episode list anyway. But if you want to see the full back catalogue of everything we have reviewed so far, it's up on Untapped.
Cool.
Anyway, thanks for watching and listening.
Thanks.
See you next episode.
Bye-bye.
Bye.